A dying alien civilization broadcasts a desperate plea across the stars, but the Galactic Council has declared their system off-limits. Any ship that responds risks destruction. Then, against all odds, a human vessel answers. What happens next will shatter a 50-year quarantine and reveal a conspiracy that could change the galaxy forever. The crystal cities of the Velothi catch the dying light of their expanding sun. Their spires fracture under solar winds, sending shimmering dust cascading through empty streets. A civilization that once charted distant stars now counts its remaining days in revolutions around a collapsing core. Maintenance drones struggle to patch radiation breaches as power grids fail sector by sector. 50 years earlier, an experimental FTL drive had detonated near their homeworld. The shockwave twisted space in a 12-light-year radius. Galactic SEU, Council monitors recorded radiation spikes 3 times above the permissible threshold. Within days, the condemnation was absolute, branding an entire species as contaminated. Quarantine beacons deployed at every jump point leading to Velothi space. Council patrol ships move like predators along the system's edge. Their guns track any vessel approaching the quarantine line. 3 unauthorized freighters ventured too close in the early years. All were vaporized before crossing the threshold. Transmissions show the official citations. Containment protocol enacted. No exceptions permitted. Velothi transport hubs stand empty. Their engineers cannibalize derelict ships for parts, but the stocks dwindle. The last mining vessel returned 3 years ago with holds only a quarter full. Hydroponic farms produce less each season, as water recyclers clog with mineral deposits. 70% of their fleet now drifts in decaying orbits, their hulls pitted by micro-impacts. Radiation. Levels paint a curious picture. Surface scans show persistent contamination, yet the Council's own early reports reveal discrepancies. The initial lethal readings came exclusively from Zephyrian probes, the galaxy's dominant energy producers. Independent surveys from neutral, world's record hotspots, but nothing justifying total isolation. The Velothi could have survived in contained zones. A research station on the outermost planet still functions. Its technicians jury-rig a subspace transmitter from salvaged parts. The message repeats on all frequencies, though protocol demands it should voice code for Council ears only. Perhaps desperation overrides caution. Perhaps it's deliberate defiance. Velothi Prime to any receiving vessel. We require immediate evacuation. Repeat. Static washes over the plea as solar interference peaks. The speaker's breath rasps through failing filters. 12 million lives remain. Our children cannot. The signal cuts for 3 heartbeats. 100 light-years away, sensors aboard the human exploratory vessel, New Frontier. Catch the distortion, pattern of a compressed transmission. The comm officer frowns at the frequency. It matches no known Council channel. Scrubbers isolate a voice beneath the noise. Captain Morrison checks the star charts. The Velothi system blinks red, marked with the highest quarantine warning. Council bulletins state approaching it equals death. But the voice coming through speaks of children. The Velothi didn't expect an answer. The transmission was their final act of witness. But human protocols differ. All distress calls receive response. Across the gap between stars, the New Frontier alters course, its engines flaring blue against the void. Council listening posts detect the vector change. A patrol cruiser mobilizes to intercept. Standard procedure dictates they'll fire without hail when the human ship crosses the quarantine border. Aboard the New Frontier, tactical computers project the cruiser's speed and intercept point. The crew sees the numbers. They know the risk. Morrison keys the fleet-wide channel. Battle stations. The Velothi transmitter falls silent, its last cry hurled into darkness. 12 million lives wait beneath cracking crystal domes. Then, impossibly, a new voice breaks the static, human, calm, and utterly unauthorized. Velothi Prime, this is Earth Vessel, New Frontier. We read your distress call. Hold position, help is incoming. Comm Officer Tanaka's hand hovers over the console when the transmission breaks through. Standard comms protocols dictate discarding all signals from quarantined zones. This one bleeds across multiple channels, its encryption weak. Tanaka could log it as interference. Should log it. His fingers freeze when the translation matrix renders the words, children, starvation, 12 million lives. Bridge officers turn toward Captain Morrison in unison. Every cadet knows the Velothi quarantine. Galactic Council Priority Edict 20, Class Omega. 62 species agreed on this one rule after the FTL incident 50 years back. Not advice, not guidelines. Violating a Class Omega carries one penalty: immediate destruction. Tanaka's console displays the Council's last patrol report. 3 more ships just reinforced the quarantine perimeter. Lieutenant Varga from Tactical splices the sensor feed. 3 Council cruisers drift half an AU from their position. Motionless now, but their engines show warm-up sequences completed 10 minutes ago. Ready to move. The closest one's mass projections match a Zephyrian Arclight class, known for punching clean through civilian hulls with its primary beam. Morrison taps the armrest display. Current galactic statutes fill the screen in neat columns. Clause 44B. Unauthorized contact with quarantine species authorizes lethal force before communication. Attempts. Clause 19F. Any vessel confirmed within 0.25 light-years of a quarantine system may be fired upon without warning. The New Frontier currently sits at 0.31 light-years and closing. Chief Engineer Rostov breaks the silence. We divert now. We might make the Avalon relay before they get a firing solution. Tactical overlays prove his math, a 70% chance at best. The remaining 30% ends with their atoms scattered across space. No one mentions Earth Command's standing orders regarding distress calls. They don't need to. Every human-flagged ship carries Article 1 in their core programming. Respond to all verified emergencies, no exceptions. Tanaka watches his board count the seconds. On Velothi Prime, 12 million beings wait behind failing shields. 1.2 million are children under 5 galactic standard years. Brooks pulls up the ship's schematics. The effect radiates outward from Deck 5, where the Velothi refugees cluster in makeshift quarters. The correlation is unmistakable. He checks atmospheric readings. CO2 levels remain constant despite 50 extra bodies in the section. Another impossibility. Chen runs a secondary scan while the Velothi remains passive. Her results confirm the initial findings. The patient's epidermal layer acts like a quantum battery, storing, converting, and redistributing energy with zero loss. She traces the pathway to specialized organelles in their cells, structures no Earth biology textbook documents. Rostov's eye twitches as he processes the implications. The Zephyrian Energy Cartel controls 97% of galactic power, distribution through patented conversion tech. Their monopoly relies on 3 proprietary elements no other species can synthesize. The Velothi might accomplish the same results through biology alone. Brooks accesses the original quarantine order from 50 standard years ago. The documentation focuses entirely on radiation risks. Not a single line mentions energy conversion potential. He cross-references with astrophysical surveys from the same period. The FTL accident would have released detectable conversion signatures any competent scan should have noted. The Velothi patient observes them quietly. Brooks realizes it's waiting for a reaction, not fear. They must be accustomed to that. Understanding. He replays the Council's public statements about containment. The phrases take on new meaning now. Galactic safety. Contamination risks. Never once did they mention the Velothi could revolutionize energy production. Chen voices what they're all thinking. This quarantine was never about safety. She pulls up a star chart. Look at the patrol patterns. Every major Zephyrian energy route intersects near Velothi space. Rostov's fist clenches around his datapad. The screen cracks under pressure. He doesn't notice. We're not transporting refugees. His voice drops to something dangerous. We're smuggling the biggest threat to the galactic economy. Brooks's bioscanner continues running diagnostics, its cheerful beeps at odds with the revelation. The Velothi watch the humans with calm, knowing eyes. They must have understood their own potential long ago. understood why they were really isolated. Engineering alerts flare across Rostov's pad. The New Frontier's power efficiency just hit 118% of rated capacity. No ships ever exceeded design specs without modifications. The Velothi don't even realize they're doing it. Brox keys the intercom to Morrison in CIC. "Captain, we have a situation down here." He hesitates, scanning the data one last time. Turns out the Council wasn't protecting the galaxy from the Velothi. The bioscanner pings again, another impossible reading. They were protecting their monopoly from a revolution. Outside the medbay windows, the stars glow steady against the black. Unchanging. For now. Lieutenant Lisa Wang's decryption array pings softly in the dim light of the comms alcove. The signal came through a Zephyrian military channel, obscure, layered with multiple encryptions. Standard procedure says to log such intercepts for later analysis, but the timestamp matches their entry into Velothi space. Wang adjusts the filters. The decrypted text scrolls across her screen in clipped formal Zephyrian. Automated probe, K7 Alpha confirms unauthorized contact in Quarantine Zone 2's. Human-class vessel observed docking with primary station. Execute sterilization protocol Delta Chi immediately. Wang's fingers freeze mid-keystroke. She checks the authorization codes. This isn't some mid-level bureaucrat's directive. It's stamped with high command sigils flagged for immediate execution. 3 floors below, Brooks examines another Velothi patient. The being's crystalline skin reflects the overhead lights as radiation readings keep climbing. Not harming. The patient, just confirming the energy conversion effect. These results could revolutionize power grids across 100 worlds. Wang doesn't know that yet. She only sees the sterilization order. She pulls economic records in a side window. The Velothi system sits near 3 major Zephyrian shipping lanes. Not just any lanes. The primary routes for their patented energy converters. Historical entries show 12 smaller species tried developing independent power systems over the past century. 10 faced industrial accidents shortly after. The remaining 2 mysteriously joined the Zephyrian trade bloc. A secondary attachment loads. Ship movements. 23 Zephyrian cruisers rerouting toward Velothi space. Estimated arrival, 9 hours. Enough firepower to glass the planet. Twice over. The orders specify no prisoners, no salvage ops. Just complete sterilization. Wang checks the New Frontier's docking clamps. Still locked to the Velothi station. 12 million lives huddle in crumbling habitats below. Their children press hands against cracked viewports to watch the human med teams work. Comms chatter from the bridge filters through her headset. Morrison coordinates evacuation routes with Velothi officials. He sounds calm. Focused. No one's told him. Ancient Earth history cycles through Wang's thoughts. The East India Company burning spice fields to control prices. The lithium wars of the 22nd century. Whenever one group monopolizes energy, they'll kill to keep it. Some patterns transcend species. Another decryption completes. Financial reports this time. Zephyrian projections for what happens if Velothi energy tech spreads. Their worst-case scenario shows profit margins collapsing within 18 months. The analysts recommend market stabilization measures, coded, in the same cipher structure as the sterilization order. Wang sprints for the lifts, her palm smacking the bridge access button. The doors slide too slowly. She replays the decrypted words. Sterilize all unauthorized contacts. Not just the Velothi. Any witnesses? Like a human ship that shouldn't be here. The lift lurches upward. 4 decks away, Rostov uploads another batch of efficiency stats showing the Velothi's passive effect on ship systems. Power fluctuations smooth to near-perfect curves. Waste heat drops 19%. Even the air recyclers run quieter. Every system confirms what Brooks suspects. The quarantine was always a lie. Wang bursts onto the bridge, skidding to a halt near Tactical. Her datapad reflects in Morrison's eyes as he reads. His expression shifts in increments. Surprise, calculation, grim certainty. Captain Morrison keys the ship-wide channel without preamble. All hands, condition red. Set defense protocols and prep for immediate undock. Across the Velothi homeworld, evacuation alarms sound. The remaining defense satellites power up, their targeting arrays sweeping for incoming threats. Counselor Reish watches the human ship's sudden activity through observation drones. She doesn't need translations to read the urgency in their movements. Morrison turns to his first officer. Send everything Wang found to Earth Command. Highest encryption. O'Malley hesitates. They'll deny it. Call it wartime propaganda. The tactical display updates. 23 red icons blinking into existence at the system's edge. Estimated intercept. 8 hours 47 minutes. Morrison grips the command chair's arms. They won't deny the ships. Meanwhile, in high orbit around Zafir Prime, 3 more battle groups receive mobilization orders. Their destination wasn't on any published patrol rotation. The Admiral's briefing pack includes historical precedents, success rate of technological suppressions over galactic history. 96% effective when executed before new tech spreads past 2 systems. Morrison watches his crew prepare for battle. The Velothi refugees stand silent in their makeshift quarters, unaware their mere existence threatens an empire. Wang's discovery changes everything. Not a quarantine, not a safety measure, a 50-year cover-up for economic tyranny. The new Frontier's engines hum to full power. Somewhere between Velothi and Earth, 23 warships lock their jump coordinates. Morrison keys the all-hands again. Brace for combat. Wall after wall of Zephyrian energy projections scroll past on Wang's abandoned terminal. One line blinks insistently. Total market control dependent on continued containment of quarantine zone Tau-Seed. No one mentions the human ship logged as docking there. No one needs to. Admiral Hayes's fingers trace the mobilization orders projected across the tactical display. The holographic readout casts shadows on her face as she computes the numbers. 119 civilian transports, 12 military escorts. Every ship Earth Command can reassign without abandoning core systems. She taps Commodore Youssef's report open. His estimates show at least 47 return trips needed to evacuate the Velothi. That's with every cargo hold converted to makeshift berths and life support running beyond safety margins. Counsel. Liaison Vri stands too close to the projection. His breathing rasps through translator implants. This constitutes an act of war. He doesn't gesture at the fleet disposition. He doesn't need to. Article 7 of the Galactic Concord forbids interference with quarantine enforcement. Hayes' command staff stiffen around the table. Colonel Ruiz from Marine Ops studies the ceiling. Captain Sen from Logistics folds her arms. No one meets the liaison's eyes. Vri scrolls through precedents on his datapad. The Larakian incident led to sanctions against 3 systems for 8 standard years. His claw taps another entry. The Hellespont skirmish ended with 2 species losing voting rights on the refugee concentration zones glow red. Another layer displays age distributions, 18% under 15 galactic standard years. She lets the numbers speak for her. Ruiz finally breaks the silence. The new frontier wasn't built for combat. They can't hold off 23 Zephyrian warships alone. His knuckles whiten around his stylus. Even if we launch now, transit time puts us 12 hours behind the enemy fleet. Sen pulls up historical data in a side window. The Kelmar evacuation set the record. 1.2 million souls lifted from a dying world over 9 weeks. That effort required 73 dedicated transports. The numbers don't compare. Somewhere in the complex, a comm officer patches through Morrison's latest update. The audio crackles across the briefing room. Estimating 200,000 already displaced surface side. Their shield generators fail in. Static swallows the rest. Vri seizes on the interruption. You risk interstellar conflict. Over a species the galaxy voted to isolate. His chitinous plates click in emphasis. Earth's standing in the council. Hayes removes her reading glasses. The gesture halts all side conversations. Liaison Vri. Her voice stays calm. Have you ever witnessed a species go extinct? The room chills. No one moves. Outside, Earth's defense grid hums through routine checks. 37 light-years away, Morrison's crew fights to load refugees while tactical tracks incoming. Hostiles. The math remains brutal. 12 million lives against galactic stability. Sends console pings. Updated projections scroll past. Cargo ships retrofitted with medical bays. Passenger liners stripping luxury suites for additional bunks. Every percentage point of efficiency gained means thousands more saved. She whispers numbers under her breath like prayers. Rui stands abruptly. His chair scrapes across polished flooring. Marine Expeditionary Unit Bravo is prepped for rapid deployment. We can secure landing zones planetside. He hesitates. If ordered. Vree hisses through. His vents. The Council won't forgive this. Hayes's finger hovers over the authorization panel. Approval sends every available ship toward certain combat. Denial signs death warrants for millions. No third option exists. The tactical display updates. Automatically, Morrison's feed shows the first Zephyrian scouts entering detection range. Red icons multiply like spreading bloodstains. Hayes signs. The orders disseminate in real time. Dry dock crews scramble to accelerate launch timetables. Merchant captains receive priority override commands. A chorus of acknowledgement pings echoes. Across the network, freighters, science vessels, even 2 luxury yachts volunteering their pressurized bays. On the display, Earth spaceport status lights flip from standby to active. Tugs maneuver the first ships into formation. Hayes watches the symbols cluster like migrating birds. Recollects his data terminal with deliberate slowness. History will remember this as Earth's greatest mistake. Hayes doesn't look up from the deployment charts. History remembers those who stood by worse. Commodore Yusef's voice comes through the shipwide. All vessels, this is Sole Defense Command. Proceed to assigned jump coordinates. Godspeed. The liaison leaves without further protest. No one marks his departure. Hayes studies the mobilization counter. 93 ships confirmed en route within the first 17 minutes. Another 42 scrambling to meet the deadline. The figures won't be enough. She knows this. Orders. The advance anyway. 3 screens over, Ruiz coordinates with Marine dropships. His mapping software outlines Velothi cities marked for priority evacuation. Children's shelters glow yellow on the grid. Hospitals pulse red. Sen finally speaks what they're all thinking. It's not just the Zephyrians we're fighting. She zooms the display outward. The whole Galactic Council's territory sprawls across known space. We're challenging the entire power structure. Hayes folds her hands behind her back. The first wave of ships engage their jump drives. Streaks of blue light pierce Earth's orbital space. Then we'd better win. Elder Z's crystalline form refracts the emergency lighting into prismatic patterns across the New Frontier's briefing room walls. Her elongated limbs adjust to the artificial gravity with precise, practiced movements. Admiral Hayes's staff watches silently as the Velothi leader activates a holographic display. Satellite imagery shows Zephyrian warships massing at the system's edge. The projection lingers on engine signatures. 23 capital ships, twice their initial estimate. Hayes leans forward, fingers steepled. Our evacuation projections account for current asset availability. Tactical updates scroll down. Her data pad. Even with every Earth vessel pressed into service, they'll leave 9 million behind. The numbers hang unspoken in the air. Z's appendages flicker through control gestures. The display changes. Schematic overlays of human ships appear beside. Velothi energy signatures. Your assessments presume our passivity. Her translated voice carries an edge no algorithm can soften. We do not intend to merely flee. Captain Sen from Logistics frowns at the readouts. Her tablet cross-references the data with engineering reports. Are you suggesting integration? Z's core luminosity intensifies. The holo shifts to show modified shield emitters pulsing with unfamiliar energy patterns. Your engineers have observed the passive stabilization effects of our presence. What you see here represents deliberate channeling. Colonel Ruiz grabs. A floating data cluster spreads it across the table. Defense projections update in real time. Shield efficiency jumps from standard 87% to 312%. Energy consumption curves invert, less drain, more output. He checks 3 times before speaking. This isn't theoretical. Dr. Brooks arrives breathless, medical scanner in hand. He projects his latest findings beside Z's schematics. Side-by-side comparisons prove the correlation. Velothi physiology interacts with human tech at fundamental levels. It's not radiation conversion, he corrects. That's the byproduct. They're energy harmonizers. The staff exchange glances. Hayes remains still. Center seat training keeps her reaction controlled, but the implications rewrite every strategic calculation. 11 million lives might stand a chance. Z rotates the display toward a new configuration, hybrid formations. Human ships retrofitted with Velothi energy conduits. Strike groups combining Terran firepower with alien enhancement. The projection simulates an engagement against Zephyrian dreadnoughts. Survival probabilities rise from 12% to 64% in every scenario. Ruiz whistles low. Tactical updates don't lie, but treaties do. Galactic law forbids interspecies combat integration. The Council, Hayes cuts him off with a raised hand. Her eyes never leave Z. You're offering more than evacuation support. The words come, slowly, measured against consequences. You're proposing coordinated military action. Z's bioluminescence patterns shift, the Velothi equivalent of a nod. Your people cross the quarantine zone knowing the penalty. We will not see more deaths traded for our survival. Silence thickens. The ship's ventilation hums. Somewhere below decks, refugee children laugh at a Terran cartoon playing on makeshift screens. Innocence persists, despite the math. Send checks. Fleet readiness timelines again. Retrofitting even half the rescue ships would take days they don't have. The Zephyrians enter firing range in 6 hours. Z extends a limb toward the display. Crystal fingers manipulate controls with practiced ease. New schematics unfold. Improvised coupling protocols requiring minimal structural changes. The estimates shrink from days to hours. We've prepared for this possibility. Brooks exhales sharply. 50 years of isolation, 50 years expecting no rescue, yet the Velothi planned military applications for tech they thought would never leave their system. The revelation settles like monsoon rain, cold and inevitable. Hayes stands. The decision crystallizes without need for debate. Some choices right themselves. Colonel Ruiz, begin immediate retrofits on all combat-capable vessels. Prioritize shield and drive systems. Z's form brightens. Her appendages spread wide, a Velothi gesture of solidarity. You came to save a dying people. We offer you this in return. The hologram dissolves into star maps marked with tactical notations, not escape vectors, attack approaches. Admiral Hayes keys the fleet-wide channel. All vessels implement Operation Sundial immediately. The code phrase spreads through the task force, prearranged but never expected to be used. Rescue becomes resistance. Z watches the human officers disperse to their stations. Behind her crystalline eyes, centuries of isolation churn toward resolution. The galaxy thought the Velothi broken. They were merely waiting. Engineers swarm docking bays as the first retrofit kits materialize, gleaming crystal components shaped by hands that remember war. No one speaks of councils or laws now. Only survival. Only justice. On the tactical display, red icons advance. The evacuation counters scroll updated numbers. 38% of priority refugees loaded. 39. Too slow. The lead Zephyrian vessels targeting scanners sweep across the new frontiers. Hull. Standard procedure would be a warning shot across the bow. These aren't standard circumstances. Morrison watches the enemy flagship's weapon ports align. 2/3 of his fleet consist of retrofitted civilian vessels. The few actual warships they have now bristle with alien modifications no battle simulation ever prepared them for. Gunnery Chief Cho's fingers hover over firing controls. Standard doctrine says, wait for the enemy to shoot first. The evacuation transports continue loading. A cluster of Velothi children press against a viewport, their fragile hands leaving smudges on the reinforced glass. Human medics shepherd them toward overcrowded berths. Vikash's voice returns, this time on a tight beam transmission just for Morrison. Final warning. Still no visual, no emotion, just 3 words and a channel-closing hiss. Hayes reviews the fleet status. 73 hybrid ships report combat readiness. Their combined firepower might scratch a single dreadnought under normal conditions. The Velothi modifications promise something different, if they work as theorized. The Zephyrian Armada halts at optimum firing range, perfect discipline, perfect formation. Every weapon system across 27 capital ships achieves firing, status simultaneously. No warning shots, no disabled engines. This is surgical extermination. Morrison's hand rests on the all-hands toggle. He doesn't issue battle orders, doesn't need to. Every crew member watches the same tactical displays. Every gunner tracks the same targeting solutions. The refugees keep boarding. 41% loaded now. Space distorts around the lead dreadnought's primary weapons. Charging harmonics vibrate through even the New Frontier's reinforced hull. Cho's displays confirm the inevitable. Plasma torpedoes locked on their engines. Maximum yield. The first volley fires. Brilliant orange projectiles streak through the void. Faster than standard torpedo speeds. Enhanced payloads. Designed to crack planetary shields. The New Frontier's collision alarms blare. Hybrid shield generators. Spool up to frequencies no Terran system should achieve. Morrison doesn't order evasive maneuvers. There's no time. No point. The torpedoes close distance in heartbeats. Then the impossible happens. The Velothi modules activate, not just on the New Frontier, across every hybrid ship. A lattice of blue energy connects the fleet in an intricate web. The incoming torpedoes strike the first defense layer and unravel. Plasma dissipates into harmless particles. Sensor. Logs will later show the energy being absorbed, converted, redirected. Silence grips the bridge. No cheering. Only Cho's whispered, "What just?" before Vikash's dreadnoughts open fire with everything they have. The New Frontier's hybrid corvettes move like liquid through the Zephyrian kill zone. Standard doctrine says ships that size should scatter under capital vessel bombardment, easy prey for turret tracking systems. Instead, the retrofitted fighters pivot midstream, their crystalline enhanced thrusters executing maneuvers no pilot could sustain unaided. Targeting sensors confirm it. Human vessels pulling 18G turns without crushing their crews. Vikash's gunners recalibrate firing solutions every 3 seconds. Their consoles scroll error messages. Tracking algorithms can't compensate for the hybrid ship's erratic pulses. A weapons officer on the Zephyrian flagship barks commands to switch to manual targeting. His hands shake when he realizes the truth. Human reaction times shouldn't allow this. The hybrids anticipate each shot before it fires. Lieutenant Cho watches the battle unfold from the New Frontier's tactical station. Her display shows the real advantage. Energy weapons piercing Zephyrian shields like they aren't there. Every hybrid plasma cannon now fires bolts tuned to harmonic resonance signatures. Cho pulls the historical records. These frequencies match ancient Velothi war techniques, suppressed knowledge from before the quarantine. Down in engineering, Rostov monitors the corvette's power curves. Their weapons should be draining reserves with each enhanced shot. Instead, energy levels spike upward after every hit. The crystalline modules don't just enhance attacks, they harvest residual energy from impacts. A frigate taking heavy fire confirms the pattern. Its damaged sections start glowing blue where Zephyrian plasma connects. Stored power builds in its scarred hull plating. Vikash orders the dreadnoughts to close formation. Standard anti-fighter. Protocols. Wall of overlapping fire. The hybrid ships dart through gaps that shouldn't exist, their navigation systems processing enemy vectors faster than Zephyrian AIs can adjust. One corvette loops around a battleship's stern. Its next shot punctures an engine housing. Not random luck. The blast pattern mirrors Velothi siege tactics from pre-quarantine archives. Elder Z watches silently from the observation deck. People haven't fought in generations, but their technology remembers. Every module whispers ancient battle rhythms to human systems. The corvettes move like Velothi hunter squads from the old wars, packs coordinating without comms, predicting each other's arcs. A damaged frigate falls behind the battle line. Its port thrusters sputter from a direct hit. Zephyrian gunners focus fire, expecting an easy kill. Then the frigate's glowing hull plates erupt. Stored energy discharges in a precise arc, shearing through two attacking fighters. The blast leaves the frigate's own systems untouched. Tactical logs the event as an anomaly until Dr. Brooks confirms. Velothi tech turns damage into weaponized potential. Morrison keys the fleet channel. All ships tighten formation. The hybrids respond before the order finishes transmitting. Their energy webs interlock, creating a lattice of overlapping shield harmonics. Vikasha's next torpedo volley strikes the network and disperses, absorbed across 19 different vessels. Power readings spike fleet-wide. Rescue transports continue loading refugees below. Their progress bars climb steadily now. 57% evacuated. The hybrid fleet's unexpected resilience buys breathing room. Gunnery Chief Tanaka runs constant updates. Zephyrian shields failing under harmonic fire. Their dreadnoughts stumbling blind against enemies they were meant to overpower. Wang's sensors detect energy spikes from the surface. Velothi primes. Remaining defense satellites awaken, their dormant systems answering the battle's rhythm. Ancient orbital platforms power up, weapons locked onto Zephyrian reinforcements. The satellites haven't functioned in decades. Now they track targets with eerie precision. A Zephyrian cruiser breaks formation, its command staff frantic. Their last transmission cuts mid-sentence. They're reading our before a hybrid corvette shot scours their bridge. Fleet-wide, similar scenes unfold. Vikasha's ships falter under attacks no simulation prepared them for. Weapons that learn, shields that strengthen under fire, foes who move like ghosts through kill zones. Hayes reviews the casualty reports. Minimal losses. Unthinkable against such odds. The hybrid fleet operates as a single organism now, Velothi intuition guiding human reflexes. She checks the evacuation count again. 61%. The math still terrifies, but the equation has changed. Rostov's engineering feeds show the crystalline modules adapting faster than predicted. Each engagement teaches them new tricks. His teams report systems self-repairing mid-battle. Hull breaches sealing with energy weaves. Life support rerouting through backup channels the blueprints don't document. The tide turns in silent increments. Vikasha's dreadnoughts rotate to defensive postures. Their proud formation crumples under an enemy they can't predict, can't overpower, can't comprehend. Weapon ports retract as shields focus on survival. Morrison monitors the shift. Standard procedure says press the advantage. The hybrids have other ideas. They surge forward without orders, weaving through broken enemy lines. Not to destroy, to herd. The Zephyrian armada folds inward. Commanders too rattled to regroup. 69% evacuated. Hybrid shield efficiency hits 400% theoretical maximums. Velothi enhanced targeting now anticipates shots 8 seconds before firing. The battle isn't won, but the impossible becomes inevitable. Every Zephyrian retreat, every failed salvo, every mystified transmission proves the same truth. Quarantine-era assumptions no longer apply. The hunters become the hunted, and under the dying Velothi sun, an old order fractures in real time. Refugee transports launch in waves. Their trajectories cut safe paths through the chaos. Routes the hybrids clear and maintain. A child's laugh echoes through a crowded hold, oblivious to the revolution happening outside. The glow of hybrid energy webs paints the evacuation ships blue in the darkness. 74%. The number ticks upward. Somewhere below, Elder Z places a crystalline hand against a viewport. She watches her people's ancient defensive strategies merge with human persistence. The fusion creates something neither species could achieve alone. The battle's not about survival anymore, it's about proving a point the galaxy forgot. Banished doesn't mean broken. And sometimes the cosmos makes mistakes. The surface tremors start minutes after the battle reaches its peak. Beneath Velothi Prime's fractured crystal domes, the remaining elders form circles, hands clasped in patterns their ancestors devised. Refugees too old or injured for evacuation press cracked foreheads together. Geologists would later confirm the impossible. Every seismic event synchronized exactly to the hybrid fleet's shield fluctuations. Ancient texts called it the Great Harmony, an energy confluence no off-worlder ever witnessed. Dr. Brooks's planetary scanners overload first. His displays show energy spikes pulsing through the planet's crust, not radiating downward from the battle above, but surging upward, from the core. The pattern defies known geology. Elder Z's translated voice crackles through the comm. It begins. No further explanation. The tactical officers see it next. Velothi Prime's electromagnetic field distorts, reshaping into precise geometric patterns. Satellite imagery resolves the phenomenon. Thousands of surface dwellers arranged in concentric rings, their crystalline bodies fluorescing in unison. Energy readings escalate exponentially. Admiral Hayes checks 3 sensor feeds before accepting the data. Nothing in Earth's database explains a planet becoming conscious. On the surface, the tremors intensify, rubble levitates centimeters before settling. Gravity fluctuates in localized pockets. A child's dropped toy hovers mid-air for 7 seconds before clattering to the ground. The phenomena focus around Velothi gathering sites, schools, hospitals, temples, places survivors naturally congregate. Lieutenant Wang isolates the energy signature. It matches nothing in known physics, yet correlates perfectly with Elder Z's earlier demonstrations. Group consciousness proves too simple a term. The Velothi don't share thoughts. They synchronize physical laws within their shared space. Seismic activity peaks, cracks spiderweb across irradiated plains, pulsing blue from within. Vikash's fleet misses the warning signs. They focus on pounding the hybrid ships with torpedo salvos, oblivious to the transformation below. Then it happens. A column of pure light erupts from Velothi Prime's northern hemisphere, not burning, not destructive, but precise as a laser scalpel. It spears upward through the battle, bypassing every hybrid vessel to strike the lead Zephyrian cruiser. The beam doesn't vaporize, it rewrites. The cruiser's shields flare, then invert color, then dissolve into harmless particles. Its weapons power down. Its engines go silent. Every Velothi-enhanced ship in range convulses with sudden energy intake. Morrison's display flashes system, overload warnings, not from damage, from abundance. Hybrid reactors surge beyond design limits without rupturing. Shield capacity bars max out at 1,000%, then recalculate their scales upward. The planetary beam connects to the fleet like a circuit, closing. Power flows unimpeded now, funneling through crystalline networks older than human civilization. Velothi Prime doesn't fight for them, it fights through them. Vikash's flagship wheels to face this new threat. Targeting computers classify the beam as a planet-based weapon. They're wrong. Scanners show zero heat emission, no kinetic force. The phenomenon operates on principles beyond Zephyrian comprehension. Energy not as a tool, but as language. On the surface, the elders glow, intensifies. Their joined forms become translucent, then near invisible. The beam sharpens. A second lances out from the southern hemisphere, then a third. The hybrid ships caught in these paths don't burn, they evolve. Hull breaches seal spontaneously. Weapons recharge instantaneously. Navigation systems display jump calculations no human could derive. Vikash's tactical officer finally understands. "Retreat vector," he shouts over the din. Too late. 37 hybrid vessels surge forward, not under human command, but guided by the planet's harmonic will. Their attacks synchronize, striking every Zephyrian weak point simultaneously. The refugees still boarding transports pause to watch. Their homeworld, the place that was supposed to die quietly, fights back with celestial precision. One child presses both hands against an observation port. Her skin flickers blue in resonance with the distant surface. Hayes checks the evacuation. Stats. 89% complete. The numbers climb faster now, Velothi moving with renewed purpose, their steps somehow lighter despite the tremors. Vikash's armada breaks. Ships scramble from formation, some colliding in their panic. The beams don't pursue, they don't need to. Every hybrid weapon now sings with the same harmonic force. Brooks watches organic circuitry bloom across his console, crystalline filaments growing through human tech. The tendrils self-arrange into fractal patterns, optimizing systems in real time. His medical scanners suddenly resolve every Velothi life sign surface side. 12 million individual frequencies, all vibrating in perfect synchrony. Morrison's fleet requires no orders now. The hybrid ships move like extensions of the planet's will, dancing through enemy formations with preternatural grace. Vikash's once proud armada fractures under pressure no tactical simulation anticipated. 73 hybrid vessels. One awakened world. Against all odds, harmony proves sharper than steel. The remaining transports launch under luminous skies. Velothi Prime's dying sun flickers behind radiant beams. Not the death throes expected, but something transcendent. A species presumed broken now conducts celestial symphonies with human hands. The battle's outcome becomes academic. Tactical projections flip from probable defeat to inevitable victory in under 90 seconds. Hayes reviews the revised calculations once, twice, then quietly closes the display. Elder Z's voice comes through clear despite the chaos. We are home. Not a location, a state of being. The hybrid fleet answers in kind, not with words, but action. Their crystalline enhancements pulse in time with the planetary beams, human and Velothi, ship and world, all resonating at frequencies forgotten since the first stars burned. Somewhere below, a child laughs as blue light dances between her fingers. The sound carries farther than physics should allow. Morrison's tactical display flashes crimson as targeting locks resolve onto Vikash's flagship. The dreadnought's silhouette dominates the hologrid, 16 megatons of armored fury radiating enough heat to distort scanner returns. Standard doctrine says ships like the New Frontier should hit and run against such targets, never slug it out. The hybrid fleet's status indicators tell a different story, glowing blue sigils pulsing in perfect sync with Velothi Prime's harmonic beams. Wang's sensor feed reveals the weakness first. The dreadnought's engine core emits intermittent radiation spikes, microscopic fluctuations in its containment shielding. Standard scans would miss it. Velothi enhanced systems paint the vulnerability in 3 dimensions, tracing fault lines through the ship's infrastructure like cracks in antique glass. Historical records suggest Zephyrian dreadnoughts share this flaw across 7 generations. Previous engagements never exploited it because no targeting system could track the nanosecond instability windows. Gunnery Chief Cho's fingers fly across her console. Weapon calibrations ripple through the fleet, plasma cannons adjusting frequencies to match the resonance pattern Wang identified. 23 hybrid ships pivot without verbal orders, their crystalline modules guiding them into optimal firing. Orcs. The dreadnought's point defenses scramble to track multiple threats. Too late. The weakness occurs every 4.2 seconds. The hybrids time their volley. Brooks monitors the energy buildup from engineering. Velothi tech doesn't just amplify their weapons, it optimizes discharge paths. Calculated trajectories appear on screens fleet-wide, each vector accounting for the dreadnought's rotation, shield harmonics, even stray gravitational eddies from nearby wrecks. The projections resemble neural networks more than ballistic solutions. Cho confirms lock. The window opens in 5. Vikash's flagship senses the threat too late. Its tactical officer barks evasive maneuvers. Helm responds with textbook precision. Dreadnoughts aren't built for agility. The hybrid fleet fires as one. Not a disorganized barrage, but a sequenced symphony of precisely timed shots. Each plasma bolt strikes the same weakening point in the shielding during its vulnerable phase. Cumulative damage builds exponentially. The first 3 impacts barely register on dreadnought damage scales. Numbers: 4 through 6 trigger minor alarm clusters in engineering. 7 through 9 fracture primary containment buffers. By strike 12, internal bulkheads begin failing. Vikash's command staff watches their status displays with dawning horror. Their vaunted flagship isn't being pummeled, it's being methodically dissected. Morrison's comm crackles with reports from other hybrid ships. The same story repeats across the battlefield. Zephyrian vessels faltering under targeted strikes no conventional tactics could achieve. Not merely overwhelmed, outgunned, but systematically outthought by an intelligence merging Velothi precision with human adaptability. The final sequence begins automatically. No human hand triggers it. Velothi modules across the fleet reach optimum synchronization, their harmonics now indistinguishable from the planet's pulsing beams. Targeting solutions update millisecond by millisecond. Energy reserves previously thought depleted suddenly spike beyond design limits. Cho's confirmation comes flat and calm. Firing solution set. No dramatic pause follows. The order exists only to satisfy human protocol. The hybrids would have fired anyway. Morrison says, all batteries fire. Plasma arcs converge like lightning drawn to a rod. Each bolt follows preceding ones through the same microscopic breach in the dreadnought's defenses. Cumulative energy surpasses critical thresholds. For 0.03 seconds, nothing happens. Then the dreadnought's core lighting flickers. Emergency. Stabilization protocols engage automatically. Too late. Secondary explosions ripple outward from engineering spaces. Vikash's flagship convulses under the assault. Internal detonations rupture multiple decks simultaneously. The elegant symmetry of its destruction suggests careful planning rather than chaotic violence. Shield emitters fail in sequence. Weapon mounts power down, section by section. Not catastrophic destruction. Controlled deconstruction. Tactical updates scroll past Morrison's display. Hybrid weapons achieving 91% hit rates against capital ships. No naval academy ever recorded figures above 37 against such targets. The numbers defy belief like the sight unfolding outside. Zephyrian dreadnoughts listing helplessly as their systems cascade into failure. Vikash's final transmission cuts through interference. Fall back, Static swallows the rest. Even in retreat, the hybrids don't relent. Their shots now target propulsion only, engine clusters, maneuvering thrusters, jump drive housings. Every disabling strike delivered with the same frightening accuracy. The evacuation counter ticks upward, 94% complete. Below, Velothi Prime's surface still glows with harmonic energy. Refugees continue boarding transports under its protective light. Somehow, through the chaos, they move faster now, not panicked, but purposeful. As though part of the same resonance, guiding their defenders. Morrison checks fleet status, minimal losses. Unthinkable against such odds 15 minutes earlier. Gunnery reports suggest weapons achieving 112% rated efficiency now. The math makes no sense. The evidence floats in pieces outside their viewports. Brooks' engineering feed confirms what everyone suspects. Velothi tech isn't being used anymore. It's using them, channeling cosmic harmonies through human hands. The hybrid fleet no longer fights a battle. It enacts a celestial correction. The last transport launches clear, 100% evacuated. Numbers that shouldn't exist under combat conditions. Numbers that rewrite doctrines. Vikash's armada scatters. Some ships drift powerless. Others limp toward jump points. Not one retains full combat capability. History won't call this a battle. Not when one side barely bled. Morrison's display resets to standby mode. The hybrid ships power down weapons without being ordered. Their crystalline modules pulse gently now. Content. Outside, Velothi Prime's beams retract like fingers uncurling after completing delicate work. The stars look no different than before. Everything changed. Morrison's broadcast ripples across the galactic networks in jagged, unstoppable pulses. Council firewalls crumble under the strain of sensor logs, energy readouts, and recovered Zephyrian communications. Data packets designed to self-destruct after reading somehow fail. Velothi harmonics rewriting deletion protocols in real time. For the first time in generations, unrestricted truth floods the information channels. The Council's media controls had been absolute. News filters scrubbed undesirable facts before dissemination. Historical archives omitted inconvenient events. Now raw footage of the battle spreads at light speed, hybrid ships outperforming dreadnoughts, planetary beams neutralizing fleets. Most damning, Zephyrian orders explicitly mandating genocide to protect energy profits. Allied worlds demand verification. The Sivari Concord dispatches scout ships to Velothi space, bypassing Council patrols. Their sensors confirm everything. Radiation levels fall well below quarantine thresholds. Energy conversion signatures match Morrison's claims. Most telling, 12 million displaced Velothi demonstrate their abilities openly, converting lethal particles into clean power under EU observation. The Ophidian League recalls its ambassadors from Council space. Financial audits begin immediately. Their forensic teams uncover centuries of manipulated energy prices, subtle taxations funneling wealth to Zephyrian accounts. Economic historians later calculate the total at 17 standard lifetimes worth of planetary GDP's. Council propaganda still saturates some channels. Talking heads dismiss the Velothi as dangerous mutants. Analysts cite fabricated contagion studies, but the cracks widen by the hour. 7 minor systems openly debate secession. Security feeds leak showing Zephyrian officials frantically purging servers. An emergency council session convenes amid the chaos. Chambers designed for dignified debate erupt into shouting matches. The Voltaire delegation presents an ultimatum: full investigation or immediate withdrawal. The Zephyrian speaker walks out rather than respond. Dr. Brooks watches it unfold from the new frontier. His medical scans of Velothi refugees become key evidence, not a single case of radiation sickness, only optimal health. The lie unravels, thread by thread. 50 years of isolation justified by fabricated hazards. Countless lives lost to maintain an energy monopoly. Then the turning point. The Democratic Worlds Alliance, long considered the Council's backbone, calls for an emergency. Their proposal: recognition of Velothi sovereignty and formal censure of Zephyrian leadership. The chamber divides along unexpected lines. 47 systems vote in favor, 38 abstain. Only the Zephyrian bloc opposes. Not enough to pass, but enough to fracture the illusion of unity. Within hours, 3 alliance worlds announce their withdrawal from the Council framework. Their joint statement cites irreconcilable breaches of trust. Others follow. Systems long chafing under Zephyrian dominance seize the moment. Trade agreements dissolve. Military pacts dissolve. The once unquestioned order crumbles under its own contradictions. Morrison monitors the cascade from the bridge. His display shows political shockwaves expanding faster than light. Former client states reject energy contracts. Neutral observers demand war crime tribunals. The Council's enforcement arm, once feared across the spiral arm, now hesitates when ordered to suppress the revolts. Behind the scenes, more revelations emerge. Hacked databases reveal the original quarantine vote was never unanimous as claimed. 22 systems had opposed the measure. Their objections were erased from official records. The deception spans generations. A new alliance forms organically. The Independent Systems Coalition begins as an ad hoc network of researchers sharing Velothi energy insights. Within days, it evolves into a formal mutual defense pact. Their founding document's first clause echoes Morrison's original broadcast: no species shall be abandoned. The fall happens swiftly. Zephyrian stock exchanges suspend trading as energy futures collapse. Former allies demand the return of confiscated territories. Council enforcers stand down rather than fire on protesters. On the New Frontiers observation deck, Elder Z watches the updates. Human and Velothi crew members cluster around display screens. No cheers erupt as the old order topples. Only quiet acknowledgement. A debt repaid. A balance restored. Final casualty reports scroll past. 12 million Velothi rescued. 0 human lives lost in the evacuation. The numbers speak louder than political posturing. Hayes reviews the preliminary accords from her ready room. The Velothi will have their homeworld recognized at last. Their technology will integrate freely with other species. None of it feels triumphant, only necessary. Starship traffic patterns shift across known space. New routes appear, bypassing old council checkpoints. Communications chatter fills with unfamiliar codes, the sounds of a galaxy reordering itself. Morrison keys the shipwide comm one last time. Stand down from battle stations. The hybrid fleet's weapons power down in unison, their task complete. Their message delivered. The future remains unwritten. But the mistakes of the past won't repeat. Not while survivors remember the cost of silence. Not while light still reaches Velothi Prime from distant suns. The domed settlement of New Haven sprawls across what was once considered a dead world. Twin suns cast competing shadows over quartz-strewn plains where radiation levels still register 7 times above human tolerance. Construction bots lay the last habitat segments under watchful Velothi eyes. Their crystalline forms shimmer in the harsh light, the only species capable of surviving here before the Alliance. A human child squints through protective goggles at the unfamiliar sky. The filters render the dual suns in safer spectrums, but nothing prepares you for seeing 2 shadows stretch from every structure. Her ball rolls toward a group of Velothi younglings playing a game involving precisely timed light reflections. The girl hesitates. Earthside schools showed her diagrams of proper interspecies conduct. None covered playground etiquette. 3 domes over, a protest erupts outside the colony director's office. Purist delegates from Earth's Unity Coalition wave sanitized drones capturing their demonstration. Protect genetic integrity, one sign reads. Another proclaims, no alien modifications. Their leader cites century-old precedents, the Mars. Arcology purge, the Titan genetic codes. All examples of humans resisting biological blending. Colony guards keep weapons holstered but hands ready. Dr. Brooks monitors the settlement's vital signs from the central hub. The air should be poison. The ground should sear flesh. Instead, Velothi-built conversion nodes dot the landscape, transforming lethal particles into breathable atmosphere and clean energy. His screens display comparisons. New Haven's radiation levels now match Earth's green zones. Browser tabs stay open to historical precedents. Rapa Nui's revival, Chernobyl's, exclusion zone renewal, proof that coexistence repairs what isolation destroys. The child takes a step forward. Her ball rests near a Velothi youngling's slender appendage. Neither species teachers prepared for this moment. Protocol manuals remain silent on interspecies play. The Velothi tilts its angular head, light refracting through its semi-transparent skull. 2 cultures hover on the edge of misunderstanding. Colony logs record 17 similar incidents this week. A human worker refuses to enter a Velothi-designed structure. A mixed work crew hesitates before sharing tools. Small tensions in a grand experiment. Director Hayes reviews the data nightly. Historical analogies scroll past. The first Martian settlers refusing dome modifications, lunar separatists rejecting gravity simulators. Progress always wears friction like a second skin. The Velothi youngling moves first. It extends a tapered limb toward the ball, then stops. A deliberate pause. An invitation. The human child glances at her wrist monitor. The safety display glows reassuring green. She takes 2 quick steps and kicks the ball gently. It arcs through the filtered sunlight. Purists at the administration dome amplify their protests. New footage emerges showing Velothi structures growing human-compatible sections without consultation. They're altering our environment, a speaker declares. Colony security tightens perimeter checks. No violence yet, just the predictable ache of change. The ball descends toward the Velothi. Its body glows faintly blue, a sign translators interpret. As concentration or joy or some untranslatable third thing, the appendage twitches upward. Contact lasts 0.6 seconds. The ball rebounds with perfect trajectory back toward the human child. A flawless catch. A flawless return. Brooks's sensors ping. The children's interaction triggers unexpected readings. The Velothi youngling's energy signature stabilizes at human-compatible frequencies during the exchange. Not adaptation, synchronization. His screen split, half showing playground cameras, half displaying analogous moments from history. Navajo and astronaut children trading gestures at Star Charter Academy, the first Martian Earthborn soccer match. Director Hayes receives the data in real time. She watches the children's game intensify, patterns emerging where none were taught. The human child laughs at a particularly complex bounce. The Velothi's glow shifts toward violet. No protocol covers this. No manual predicts it. The playground becomes its own kind of laboratory. Security alerts blink. The purist delegation retreats from Administration Dome 3. Their final statement warns of contamination risks. Colony medics confirm their shuttle's departure scans show zero radiation exposure, just hurt pride and fading relevance. By dusk, 12 more human children join the game. The rules remain unspoken, but understood. Bounces grow more intricate. Laughter requires no translation. Velothi parents observe from crystalline shelters, their worry frequencies softening into something akin to relief. Human parents hover near the safety line, goggles raised, disbelief warring with wonder. The twin suns dip below the quartz ridges. Glow markers activate along pathways where two species now walk together. Radiation still punctuates the soil. The air still carries traces of what once made this world lethal. But beneath the dome's protective curve, a child's discarded ball rests exactly midway between human and Velothi sleeping quarters. Night falls on New Haven. Its first true day of coexistence ends not with speeches or treaties, but with a simple object holding the imprint of both species' touch. Director Hayes saves the playground footage to the colony's foundational archive. The timestamp reads, Day 1. The demonstration chamber hums with restrained energy. Dr. Brooks stands. Beside the hybrid drive core, a human frame housing Velothi crystalline matrices. Delegates from 17 systems crowd the observation gallery, their breathing masks fogging in the sterile air. 6 months ago, this technology would have meant execution for all involved. Now it represents the new standard. The old energy cartels, collapse left power grids across the galaxy unstable. Zephyrian monopoly stations sit dark, their proprietary fuel blends rendered obsolete. Brooks checks the last safety seal. His console shows 17 emergency petitions from struggling worlds, all requesting immediate access to Velothi human, hybrid tech before their civilizations collapse. Ambassador Vrel from the Kelmar Reach shifts uncomfortably. His species built their economy around dilithium mining. Market projections show his people's income dropping 89% within 2 years. This destabilization benefits no one, he mutters to his aide. The words carry farther than intended. Brooks ignores the commentary. His focus stays on the reactor housing where human alloys merge seamlessly with Velothi energy conduits. Early tests proved problematic. Crystalline growth patterns didn't always align with mechanical tolerances. The third-generation units solved this. Mutual adaptation. Travel logs scroll on secondary displays. Where Zephyrian engines required 9 jumps to cross the Orion Spur, hybrid ships now make the same journey in 2. Transit times between core worlds have dropped from 18 days to 63 hours. Economic models project interstellar trade increasing 400% within a decade. A Thalassian delegate examines the schematics with obvious distrust. Her people rejected the first hybrid proposals, citing biological contamination risks. Now her homeworld's fisheries starve as transport delays spoil perishable goods. She calculates silently. How many would still live if they'd adopted sooner? Brooks initiates the cold start sequence. Traditional reactors need hours to achieve operational temperatures. The hybrid system glows faintly blue before the startup. Chime finishes echoing. Delegates lean forward despite themselves. Power output climbs smoothly to 110% of rated capacity without stress signatures. Neural feedback loops were the breakthrough. Human engineers couldn't predict crystal growth patterns. Velothi technicians misunderstood metal fatigue limits. The solution emerged when a junior researcher noticed both species dreamed in similar electrical frequencies during joint sleep studies. Now the engines learn from their operators' brainwaves, aligning rhythms instinctively. The Thalassian ambassador's translator disk records her sharp inhale when Brooks engages the warp simulation. Standard drives vibrate noticeably, even behind shielding. This unit produces only a harmonic hum, audible but soothing, like listening to planetary rings from within their particle streams. Economic projections update in real time on overhead screens, shipping lane revisions, colony viability recalculations. Suddenly, 83 marginal systems fall within practical trade ranges. The Kelmar ambassador's face tightens as he recognizes 3 as former dilithium competitors. "Show them the range," Admiral Hayes murmurs from her observation post. Brooks nods. He alters the simulation parameters. Theoretically, hybrid drives could sustain Warp 9 indefinitely, if properly tuned. No living pilot has reflexes that fast, but with Velati harmonic guidance, the drive core's glow intensifies. Deck plating thrums gently. Simulations suggest this configuration could reach Andromeda within a single lifetime. No generation ship required. Just sustained harmonic flight. The gallery erupts in startled exclamations despite decorum. Brooks lets the implications sink in before speaking. This changes everything. Not boastful, not triumphant, simply factual. Security monitors track 14 separate covert transmissions leaving the chamber, industrial spies reporting to crumbling power blocks. Hayes allows it. Let them see. Let them understand resistance is futile. The independent species. Coalition votes that evening. Emergency session, unprecedented attendance. Their charter's revised Article 37 mandates open technology sharing among all signatories. Penalty for non-compliance, economic isolation. Brooks watches the tally mount on his cabin viewer. 79 systems ratify immediately. 21 abstain. Only the shattered Zephyrian remnant votes against. Their objections aren't recorded in the minutes. Outside his viewport, shipyards already retrofit civilian freighters with stolen hybrid schematics. The design spread faster than regulations can control. Pirates install bootleg versions in asteroid hideouts. Frontier colonies jury-rig their own variants. No laws can contain this any more than one could ban fire after its discovery. Hayes joins, him at the window. Her reflection shows traces of exhaustion, too many sleepless nights negotiating this future. "How long?" she asks, meaning, how long until everything changes beyond recognition? Brooks checks the latest jump calculations. 5 years until the last holdouts convert. 3 more until the new routes stabilize. He gestures toward the stars. "We'll need updated star charts by next Tuesday." The first hybrid passenger liner departs that same evening. Its destination was previously 18 months away. New estimate, 11 days. Crowds gather at every viewing port as it spools up. No fiery exhaust, just a blue shimmer around the hull. The jump looks less like technology and more like magic, which at sufficient advancement levels amounts to the same thing. Economic. Shock waves radiate outward from that moment. Mining guilds retool. Colonial offices revise settlement plans. The very concept of remote undergoes redefinition. Brooks finalizes his reports as the chamber empties. The prototype engine continues, humming, self-sustaining now, requiring no external input. Its resonance patterns match the brainwaves of anyone who approaches. Learning, adapting, preparing for journeys no one has dared plan yet. Hayes intercepts him at the lift. "Next steps? The children at New Haven," he says quietly. "Monitor their development." The unsaid truth lingers. First-generation hybrid users operate the tech. Those born into it may become something else entirely. News feeds show the first wave of adopters already pushing boundaries. A freighter captain reports shaving 3 hours off his record time. A survey team reaches previously inaccessible rogue planets. The revolution won't be televised. It'll be lived, light year by light year, jump by jump, until the stars themselves feel close enough to touch. The observation dome on Unity Station hums with restrained energy. Elder Z's crystalline form refracts light across 74 assembled delegates. More species gathered than at any Galactic Council summit in living memory. Admiral Hayes stands at her shoulder, dress blues crisp against the Velathi's fluid silhouette. Cameras capture every angle, broadcasting to worlds that 50 years prior labeled each other enemies. 53 standard months since the new frontier answered that first distress call. The timeline scrolls beneath the live feed. 316 days since the Zephyrian Armada retreated. 109 since the first hybrid tech patents were released freely into the galactic commons. The numbers tell their own story. A Kelmar delegate studies his agenda with narrowed eyes. Old prejudices die slowly. His people once profited from the energy monopoly. 4 bodyguards flank him despite strict weapons bans in the chamber. Security. Drones hover discreetly closer. Tension thrums beneath the ceremony's polished surface. Trade manifests tell the real truth. Velothi-enhanced ships now ply 43 new routes. Agricultural yields climb where radiation once rendered soil barren. Medical scans show decreased mutation rates near harmonic generators. The data requires no embellishment. Historical parallels flicker on secondary screens. The forming of the United Nations after Earth's global wars. The Vulcan-Andorian Accords. Moments when former adversaries chose shared systems over continued conflict. The archives make it look inevitable. Participants remember the uncertainty. Elder, Z steps forward. Her voice cascades through translators in 92 languages. We convene not to dominate but to sustain. The words echo the proposed charter's preamble. Delegates straighten in their seats. This marks the first public declaration from a Velathi since their rescue. Hayes keys the central display. Star charts rotate above the assembly, highlighting 12 new member worlds. Each glows with hybrid energy signatures, communities thriving where isolation once reigned. The Kelmar delegate's lips thin as his home system appears among them. Conversion came reluctantly, but commerce outweighs pride. Whispers circulate about holdouts. The Zephyrian remnant survives in 7 fortified systems, their economy collapsing under self-imposed isolation. Security reports suggest internal fractures. Irrelevant to today's proceedings, yet present in every delegate's calculations. The charter ratification begins with standard formalities. Voice votes proceed system by system. Early adopters vote with theatrical flourish. The Sivari delegation rises as one when their turn comes. More reticent members hesitate noticeably before assenting. The Kelmar representative waits 11 seconds before muttering approval. Progress, if not enthusiasm. Article 1 projects above the assembly. No species shall be left behind. Simple. Clear. A direct repudiation of the quarantine ideology. Delegates from the rescued systems react first. Voth and Hellespont representatives actually embrace across species lines. More conservative members manage tight nods. Z activates the final provision. Velathi Prime's image dominates the dome. Crystal cities still standing despite solar decay. Their spires now pulsing with renewed energy. The Great Harmony's residue lingers in the atmosphere, detectable even via hologram. Designated heritage. Site scrolls beneath the footage granting permanent protected status. Few oppose this. Even the Kelmar don't dare veto a homeworld sanctity. Hayes studies the body language as the vote concludes. 71 ayes, 3 abstentions, no nays recorded. The system works as intended, peer pressure doing what edicts never could. She allows herself one deep breath before summoning the signing interface. Afterward, delegates mingle with careful politeness. Trade ministers from rival systems compare hybrid tech applications. Scientists exchange restricted research freely for the first time. A Hellespont general actually laughs at something a Velathi engineer says. The moment feels staged but isn't. Security feeds show the Kelmar delegation withdrawing immediately. Their shuttle departs without standard farewell protocols. Analysts note their course, not homeward, but toward the Zephyrian border. Some alliances reform, even as others dissolve. Unity Station's docking bays tell the truer story. 17 ships from formerly estranged systems exchange personnel and cargo without customs checks. The first interspecies engineering teams prep joint deep space missions. No fanfare accompanies these changes, just quiet, bureaucratic adjustments to a new reality. She observes it all from her observation post. Her people's exile ended not with vengeance, but with shared infrastructure projects. Hayes joins her, data pad in hand, already scheduling the next summit. Some challenges require continual maintenance. The ambassador understands this. Both species do. On Velathi Prime, reconstruction crews preserve ruined towers beside new habitats. Scholars debate which relics to restore, which to leave as reminders. The past remains visible but no longer defines every step forward. The feed pans across the dome one last time. Delegates from 100 worlds mingle beneath projected star charts. No camera catches the moment a young Velathi aide passes a data chip to her human counterpart. Routine information sharing now, though it would have meant execution months prior. Station logs will record this as the Independent Systems Coalition's founding. Historians may debate when the old order truly collapsed. Was it when Morrison answered that first distress call? When the hybrid fleet routed Vikash's armada? Or here, amid signatures and handshakes? Hayes keys the final command. Across known space, the charter transmits simultaneously to all member worlds. No encryption, no restrictions. The message is simple. The galaxy operates differently now. Unity Station's artificial night cycle begins. Delegates retire to renegotiate old grudges into new partnerships. Somewhere beyond the viewports, 12 million Velathi sleep safely under stars that no longer judge them contaminated. The station's rotation brings Velathi Prime into view, its surface still scarred, but no longer dying. Just waiting. Morning will bring fresh disputes, new tensions, inevitable setbacks. For now, the dome sits quiet. The charter glows on every screen. Its words require no elaboration. No species shall be left behind. A promise. A warning. A foundation. The work begins at dawn. Dr. Liren Moya adjusts the holographic timeline in her research lab. The projection spans 53 standard months, from the Velathi distress call to the Coalition's founding. Her fingers pause over the quarantine boundary markers. Every military academy teaches this story now, though interpretations vary. Widimar, conventional wisdom seems laughable in retrospect. Challenge the Galactic Council? Economic suicide. Military impossibility. 73 documented attempts across 2 centuries ended in sanctioned obliteration. Moya pulls the casualty reports. 0 human losses during rescue operations. 0 Velathi casualties after assimilation. The numbers defy historical precedent. Critics still populate the academic journals. Professor Jal Tover's latest monograph questions humanity's altruism. Calculated power play masked as humanitarianism, he argues. His footnotes cite the hybrid tech patents. Never mind that Earth released all schematics freely. Conspiracy theories ossify faster than truth. Moya checks. The refugee census. 12 million Velathi successfully evacuated. Complete accounting verified by 3 independent auditors. Mortality rates post-rescue actually fell below galactic averages thanks to harmonic medicine. She cross-references council enforcement. Records. Not a single retaliatory strike succeeded after the initial battle. Every statistic confirms the operation's clean execution. Ethics scholars debate the precedent. The Caracol Symposium split along familiar lines, interventionists versus isolationists. Both sides cite the Velathi incident. Moya replays the key testimony from Admiral Hayes. We saw children behind those failing shields. The math stopped. Mattering. The historian's display blinks with an incoming query from her graduate assistant. The kid wants dramatic visuals for their thesis. Maybe reenactments of the first human Velathi handshake. Moya declines. The real footage exists. Morrison's weathered face as he greets Elder Z says everything required. No embellishment needed. Survivor. Testimonies fill her secondary monitor. Velathi children describing human medics, human engineers marveling at crystal tech. The personal accounts contradict the political narratives. Moya notices a pattern. Most describe specific gestures, not grand ideals. A shared meal, a repaired toy, a blanket offered during transit. She pulls planetary economic charts. The hybrid revolution redistributed energy access across 73 systems within 18 months. Standard development models predicted 30-year rollouts. Nothing explains the rapid adoption except obvious truth. The tech worked better, cheaper, cleaner. The skepticism persists nonetheless. Consular Shu's leaked memos reveal persistent doubts about radiation risks. Never mind 11,000 hybrid ships now crisscrossing inhabited space without incident. Fear outlives facts by generations. Moya files the documents under cognitive dissonance, exemplar 44. Her door chime interrupts. A lanky astrophysics professor leans against the frame. Still obsessing over ancient history? He means the rescue, not the centuries before. 5 years suddenly qualifies as ancient where galactic shifts are concerned. Moya minimizes her displays without comment. Let him think her work mere archival spelunking. The real stakes appear only in careful cross-analysis. The shipping lane, revisions that prevented 3 predicted famines. The colony viability reports that added 17 habitable worlds. These matter more than any speech. The historian saves her current compilation. Case study, Velathi intervention, outcome analysis V9. Her conclusion needs no flourishes. The words stand plain against reams of evidence. They chose compassion, overpower. Later, walking the university pathways, Moya notices new construction. Crystal and steel fusion architecture, the hybrid style now dominating public projects. Students lounge beneath harmonic arches that regulate temperature and airflow. None marvel at the technology anymore. It just works. The Velathi-Human Alliance passed into legend faster than any political union in recorded history. Folk songs describe the rescue fleet. Children's books simplify first contact. An entire genre of jokes relies on crystalline puns. The depth of transformation resists academic measurement. Moya's wristcom pings, a notification from New Haven's observation feed. Today's footage shows human and Velathi toddlers building sandcastles together in the radiation-safe biodome. Their parents watch from respective comfort distances, still hesitant. The children share no such reservations. The historian saves the clip to her primary sources folder. Future scholars will debate motivations and consequences for centuries. Let them. The sandcastle matters more. Back in her office, Moya shuts down the timeline projection. The hologram dissolves into scattered light particles, not unlike how the old order fragmented under truth's glare. She files her final report with the university press. No dramatic last line required. The data speaks for itself. Outside, the hybrid streetlights shimmer to life at dusk, casting prismatic patterns across the pavement. Tourists still photograph them. Locals barely glance up. Change settles deepest when it becomes unremarkable. Moya locks her terminal. The Velathi rescue recedes into history's steady march. New crises emerge, new debates ignite. But in 100 scattered star systems tonight, 12 million beings breathe air they weren't meant to survive. Their existence answers every skeptical paper, every cynical critique. The historian walks home beneath hybrid constellations. Above her, freighters streak across the twilight. Human pilots, Velathi harmonics, both working in effortless tandem. The cosmos once banished the Velathi out. Humanity welcomed them in, and the universe, against all odds, became better for it. The Velathi homeworld glows softly in distant telescopes now, its crystal cities preserved, its people thriving. Where the Galactic Council saw contamination, humanity recognized potential. Where others enforced isolation, we extended a hand. 12 million lives saved, 0 casualties. Those numbers mattered more than diplomatic consequences. The hybrid revolution reshaped the galaxy not through conquest, but by proving compassion builds stronger alliances than fear. The quarantine's collapse revealed a universal truth. Power isn't measured in weapon yields, but in willingness to help. When the cosmos cast the Velothi out, humanity welcomed them in, and the stars shone brighter for it. The Velothi transmission loops. Crackling audio documents atmospheric breaches in compound after compound. A new sound emerges, the structural groans of collapsing architecture. Likely one of their famed crystal arcologies failing under solar stresses. Tanaka isolates a secondary frequency, not a broadcast, a proximity alarm. One of the last functional Velothi defense satellites tracking the approaching Council patrols. Morrison stands abruptly. Ops, calculate maximum evac through that system's L3 point. The navigator's fingers fly. Optimal route snake. Across the hologrid, all passing within weapons range of 3 hostile ships. Estimated capacity, 8,000 per trip if they strip the New Frontier to its bulkheads. Rostov points out they'd need 91 round trips minimum. Time required exceeds Velothi Prime's projected collapse by 4 weeks. Outside, the stars shine indifferent. The Council cruisers hold position, their weapon ports dark. For now. Protocol demands they wait until the human ship crosses the quarantine threshold before firing. Morrison studies the tactical display. Every projected outcome shows losses. Every path risks annihilation. Tanaka's board pings, another Velothi transmission weaker than the first. Repeat. Our primary shield generator failed. Direct exposure in 3. Morrison reaches past Tanaka to key the transmitter himself. His voice carries no tremor. This is Captain Jake Morrison of Earth Vessel New Frontier transmitting on all bands. Velothi Prime, we acknowledge your distress call. Prepare for... He hesitates a quarter second before committing to the phrase no one's uttered in 50 years. Prepare for rescue operations, ETA 18 hours. Then he turns to tactical. Lieutenant, feed those patrol ship positions to Gunnery Chief Cho. Cho's hands already move across her console, running pre-firing checks on the point defense. Lasers. Too small to win a fight. Just enough to maybe possibly buy time. Bridge recorders timestamp the moment. Standard galactic date, 6:04.392. First unauthorized communication with the Velothi since condemnation. The deed's broadcast now. Irreversible, racing ahead of them toward the quarantine boundary. Council monitors will intercept it within minutes. Every officer knows what comes next. No one calls for battle stations. They're already there. The New Frontier accelerates into contested space, her hull vibrating with the strain. 12 million lives tick down in sync with the distance counter. Velothi Prime's dying sun glows red on long-range scopes. One ship, unauthorized, unconquered, breaks a 50-year silence. The Emergency Council chamber of Velothi Prime hums with failed climate controls. Elder Civic slams a 4-fingered hand on the fractured crystal table. Static jumps across the comm display, still replaying Morrison's transmission. This is deception. His vocal cords produce the Velothi equivalent of a snarl, grating through the translator. Every child in quarantine grew up on security bulletins. Outsiders contaminate. Outsiders destroy. The Council declared it galactic law. High Prelate Riche rotates slowly in the zero-G bubble at the chamber's center. Her bioluminescent markings dim as she absorbs tactical feeds. 47 defense platforms still operational. 17 targeted on the approaching human ship. They answer a distress call with no prior contact, she mutters. Statistically improbable. Her claws tap across a secondary screen, pulling up records. 14 documented first contact incidents since the quarantine began. 79% ended in violence when initial trust was compromised. Meanwhile, the New Frontier crosses the quarantine boundary. Weapons Officer Cho counts off the seconds until expected engagement. The 3 Council cruisers now track their approach with targeting locks. Morrison keeps the channel open, transmitting their cargo manifests, medical supplies, food synthesizers, not standard armaments for a warship. Velothi Defense Protocol 12 demands immediate destruction of unauthorized vessels at this range. The system's automated guns power up. Deep in the Velothi command spire, Technician Vel notices an anomaly. The human ship's reactor signature pulses at intervals matching old Velothi distress patterns. Not a beacon. A deliberate signal. She cross-references the pulse code against historical archives. A dozen botanists once used this sequence during a failed agricultural expedition. Volunteers died sealing radiation leaks to save their seed vaults. Vel's hands hesitate over the comm controls. To report this risks accusations of sympathy toward outsiders. Civic barks orders to cut all external communications. Standard containment procedure. His second-in-command hesitates, sensors locked on the New Frontier's approach vector. They enter firing range in 43 seconds, but their shields remain at minimum. Standard tactical doctrine says no. Ship approaches hostile territory without defenses raised, unless they expect no hostility. Morrison's voice cuts through the chamber speakers again, clearer now. Velothi Prime, we show your orbital habitats losing pressure. Our shuttles can evacuate 800 per trip. The numbers scroll alongside damage reports from the surface. 12 million lives. 91 trips needed. The math condemns them. A sensor alert blares. The lead council cruiser activates its primary weapon. Vel makes her choice. She roots. A priority override to Rish's terminal. The screen floods with data. Human medical ships responding to disasters. Refugee assistance logs. Not conquest, not contamination. Rescue. Rish's claws flex toward the comm panel. Protocol demands she shut down the channel. The defense grid fires a warning shot across the New Frontier's bow. Cho's tactical display confirms impact coordinates, deliberately wide. A test. Morrison doesn't alter course. Rish watches. The live feed from the dying cities. Craters where hospitals stood, children crowding makeshift shelters. The humans could be lying, probably are lying. Desperation outweighs percentage points. She opens a secure line to the remaining elders. We either die by council guns today or starve next week when the last hydroponic fails. A beat. Or we trust the impossible. Morrison's voice returns, insistent. Velothi Prime, confirm receipt. We require landing coordinates before... Civic snarls and reaches for the disconnect. Rish interposes her elongated forearm between him and the controls. The movement carries the weight of centuries of tradition overturned. Her claws find the transmit key. New Frontier. This is High Prelate Rish of the Velothi Conclave. She articulates each syllable of the next words with precision, well aware they'll echo across history. We accept your offer. Silence fills the chamber. Across the system, defense platforms power down. Sensor logs will later show the council, cruisers holding fire, their commanders awaiting new orders that don't come. The New Frontier alters trajectory toward the nearest docking spire, its shield still at minimum. 3 words, spoken across 50 years of isolation. The quarantine doesn't shatter, it dissolves. Dr. Brooks's bioscanner chirps 3 times in rapid succession. The first Velothi patient sits motionless on the exam table, its crystalline epidermis reflecting the overhead lights in fractured patterns. Brooks checks the readout twice. The radiation levels should have triggered every alarm on his panel. Instead, the scanner displays an energy absorption curve that makes no biological sense. Council archives painted the Velothi as walking contamination hazards. Standard quarantine briefings showed graphic simulations, particle decay ravaging, organic tissue at the molecular level. Brooks expected to find deteriorating cell structures, mutated DNA. The bioscanner shows the opposite. The Velothi's cellular matrices hum with stabilized energy, their mitochondria converting what should be lethal radiation into usable power. Brooks runs the data against known species profiles. The closest match comes from deep-sea thermal vent organisms, but even those don't approach this efficiency. His console calculates the energy output per square centimeter of Velothi tissue. The numbers exceed Zephyrian industrial converters by a factor of 41. Across the medbay, Junior Specialist Chen preps decontamination protocols. Standard procedure for first contact scenarios involving quarantined species. Brooks waves her off without looking up. Stand down the scrubbers. Get me a full-spectrum energy mapper instead. Chen hesitates. Protocol states they should be sealing the room right now. Brooks taps his screen, sending the data to her station. The Velothi speaks for the first time, its voice resonating through the translator module. Your machines register truth. It extends a translucent limb toward Brooks's scanner. The Great Harmony has always been this way. Brooks notes the term doesn't translate precisely. The closest human equivalent would be collective energy conversion. Engineering Officer Rostov bursts in, datapad in hand. Doc, you need to see this. His feed shows the New Frontier's power grid. Something's drawing energy from the warp core shunt, not draining, stabilizing. Energy fluctuations that should require constant adjustment now run at peak efficiency with no input. Rostov points to the monitor. It started when we brought the first group aboard. Hayes pauses at the doorway, datapad glowing with deployment orders. Your people should know we can't guarantee. Ziz interrupts without translation lag. What is guarantee in this universe? Her limb gestures toward the viewport where Zephyrian scouts glint in the distance. Only that we will meet fate together now. The first retrofit team crosses into Velothi sectors carrying fusion torches and hope. Behind them, children press hands to observation glass, human and Velothi alike, watching the adults prepare miracles from desperation. The welding torches cast flickering blue shadows across Docking Bay 4 as engineers graft crystalline converters onto the New Frontier's hull plating. Velothi techs observe with silent intensity, their elongated fingers sketching adjustments in the air that human systems translate to micrometer calibrations. Petty Officer Chen checks the alignment for the third time. Standard operating procedure prohibits unvetted alien tech integration. Section 14. Paragraph 9 of Earth Command's First Contact Protocols. Chief Engineer Rostov wipes sweat from his brow. His team's working without schematics, adapting to technologies no human school ever taught. The crystalline modules pulse faintly as they bond with Terran alloys, resonating at frequencies that make dental fillings ache. Down the line, Ensign Co radios in from the Martian dawn. Their retrofit crews report similar phenomena. No one knows the long-term effects. A cluster of junior engineers lingers near the airlock. Their whispers carry through the bay. Won't this just paint targets on our backs? One mutters. Galactic Council edicts forbid interspecies tech fusion. The last civilization that tried, the Hygians, got their homeworld glassed. Rostov pretends not to hear. The first test flight data streams in 93 minutes later. The retrofitted Corvette de Swift completes maneuvers at 1.8 standard Gs beyond design limits. Weapons Officer Cho's report shows plasma cannon recharge rates dropping from 12 seconds to 4. Energy consumption graphs spike downward. A 62% reduction in drive core expenditure. Velothi Elder Z studies the results alongside Admiral Hayes. Their reflection ripples across a coolant puddle, one figure crystalline and luminous, the other clad in standard-issue fatigues. Your engineers adapt quickly, Z notes. The praise lacks surprise. On secondary monitors, Zephyrian fleet movements continue unabated. Tactical estimates now project 27 capital ships converging on the system, not 23. Their formation suggests blockade patterns designed to catch refugee convoys. Lieutenant Wang tracks the energy fluctuations in real time. The crystalline modules don't just interface with human systems, they evolve them. Shield harmonics adapt, mid-cycle to incoming fire signatures. Drive efficiency scales exponentially with velocity. She cross-references with the Swift's performance logs. The numbers defy physics models. Rostov finally voices what his team's thinking. This isn't tech integration. He points to harmonic resonance patterns cascading across multiple systems simultaneously. It's symbiosis. The Velothi modules. Learn. Refugee children watch from observation galleries as their elders work alongside human crews. A Velothi adolescent demonstrates crystalline circuit alignment for a Terran midshipman. No shared language exists between them. The lesson proceeds. Through gestures and shared focus, Hayes reviews the mobilization roster. 73 ships now sport hybrid modifications. Freighters with enhanced shielding. Passenger liners carrying emergency weapon mounts. Not a single vessel remains compliant with galactic tech interchange laws. Every retrofit constitutes an act of defiance. The Swift returns from its third test run with unexpected data. Its passive sensors detected Council Scout probes 2 light minutes further out than standard equipment should allow. Captain Sen checks the calibration thrice. No error. The Velothi modules expand operational parameters in ways no one predicted. Comm chatter spikes when the first hybrid battleship, the Orion's Shield, reports combat readiness. Its weapon systems synchronize with Velothi energy channels in perfect harmony. Gunnery Chief Tanaka runs live fire drills. Simulated Zephyrian dreadnoughts disintegrate under focused volleys. Power utilization stays well below red lines. He studies the tactical projections. Her people haven't fought in generations, but their tech remembers. The crystalline modules reconfigure human systems toward ancient Velothi warfare patterns, precision strikes, adaptive shielding, energy reciprocity. She offers no explanation. Down in the cargo holds, marine medics distribute emergency patches to Velothi elders. The translucent beings place the bioadhesives with ritual care, murmuring phrases that translators render as shared burden. Human. Medics don't understand the significance until scanners show the patches resonating with crystalline harmonics. Field medicine enhanced by alien tech. Rostov's engineers no longer hesitate when mounting Velothi components. The proof manifests in every diagnostic. A bulk hauler's engines achieve warp velocities previously thought impossible for its class. A scout frigate's sensor array detects micron-level fluctuations at half a light-year's distance. The new Frontier's bridge hums with modified systems cycling to full readiness. Captain Morrison watches hybrid fleet status indicators flip from amber to green across the tactical board. 12 million lives hang on unproven science fused with desperate hope. On the observation deck, a human ensign stands shoulder to shoulder with a Velothi technician. Neither speaks as the retrofitted fleet assembles beyond the viewports. The Zephyrian Armada's arrival countdown glows on every screen. 3 hours, 7 minutes. Engineering reports finalize prep checks. Hybrid drive coils thrum with contained potential. Shield generators vibrate at frequencies that ripple nearby liquids in symmetrical patterns. Morrison keys the all-hands battle stations. The order echoes through 91 ships. Human and Velothi crews brace at their respective consoles. Energy relays hum louder as crystal tech synchronizes across the fleet, an orchestra tuning before the performance. Tactical screens update. The first Zephyrian dreadnoughts pierce the system's edge. Their weapons glow with predatory intent. Across the fleet, retrofitted targeting systems auto-calibrate. The Velothi modules don't just interface with human tech anymore. They've learned it, evolved with it, prepared for this. The void between Velothi Prime and its third moon shimmers like disturbed water. Then space fractures. Vykash's dreadnoughts emerge from warp in perfect formation. 27 capital ships sliding into real space with predatory grace. Their hulls gleam under the dying star's light. Weapons already cycling to full charge. Tactical confirms the numbers. 5-to-1 odds against the hybrid fleet. On the New Frontier's bridge, Lieutenant Wang tracks the Armada's dispersal pattern. Blockade configuration. The Zephyrian ships position themselves between the evacuation fleet and every viable jump point. Standard quarantine enforcement procedure, if this were a normal containment operation. But the energy readings from those weapons banks tell a different story. This isn't about keeping contaminants in. It's about erasing witnesses. A priority channel bursts to life on all frequencies. No visual feed. Just Vikash's voice, processed through layers of translation algorithms until all emotion bleeds out. Unauthorized vessels in quarantine zone. Withdraw immediately or face termination. The words linger in the air. No timestamp for compliance, no negotiation parameters. Down on Velothi Prime, Evacuation transports sit half-loaded. Refugee streams bottleneck at the spaceport gates. Too many elderly and children needing assistance. Too few able-bodied adults to guide them. The air smells of ionized particles and panic. Admiral Hayes watches the live feed from orbit. The math hasn't changed. Even at maximum capacity, they'll leave millions behind. Historical parallels flicker through Hayes's mind. The siege of Altair III, the last stand at New Caprica. Every cadet studies these battles, desperate defenses against impossible odds. None ended favorably for the defenders, but none had Velathi crystal tech humming through their bulkheads either. Morrison keys the response channel himself. Zephyrian Command, this is Captain Morrison of Earth Vessel New Frontier. We are conducting sanctioned humanitarian operations under galactic. Static drowns the rest. The Zephyrians aren't listening. Their fleet continues its advance. Weapons. Charging. The lead dreadnought's plasma banks glow malevolent orange through targeting scopes. Dr. Brooks monitors the hybrid systems from engineering. The Velathi modules react to the approaching threat, not with fear, but something akin to recognition. Resonance patterns shift into configurations the schematics don't document. Defense protocols rewrite themselves in real time. Elder Z stands, motionless in the observation blister. Her crystalline form reflects the approaching armada's formation lights. She transmits no orders to her people. None are needed. Every Velathi aboard knows what comes next.